Oh,
yeah.
right.
There are 5 domains, and you get graded on each, and you have to get at least a 70 or above to pass. But you don't know which is which. And there's like different type of tests. Like 2 of us got the same one, and then the other 4 got a completely different one.
tests.
So that's another thing.
I don't think it should take anybody like as long to take the test. I would say don't overthink the questions, because once you start overthinking is when you'll start changing your answer. But what is like asked on the question is what you answer. Don't like think of another scenario that might happen. Just think of like what the question is asking you. Yeah, what's given to you, and then just answer with your best judgment.
I would say for me, what I really did was just practice the test that Miss J gave us, and those are actually super similar to as well to the actual to the actual online exam. I took like maybe like 40 minutes, but some of the questions do seem like that they're a little too easy to answer, but I mean it is the correct answer that you are picking. So like they're saying, just don't overthink it and just go with your gut at the end of the day if you don't know, like if you don't know the answer to it.
It's really easy. Just use common sense. If anything else, maybe just review like maybe your what's it called? Your like vital sign notes, because that might come into play. If you're unsure about what's a good respiration level, what's like good pulse, maybe might review those because you're gonna get questions like that. But that's really honestly it.
I would say the same thing as well. For the CNA Plus, they really helped a lot. They're very similar to the test, but make sure to look like what you got wrong on the test, the practice test, to look and go over those questions so you know what to do on the actual test, because they really are similar. But that's really all I have. Don't overthink it, because then you'll second guess yourself.
Like they said, don't overthink it because it is really easy. You're gonna be like, it's too easy. It should not be this easy. It needs to be. No, it's easy. Just have common sense. That's all I gotta say.
Oh, it's recording. Wait, it said the mic or something. I didn't even press that button. Oh.
Well, that's good
Hello?
because we can see.
Hey
Hey guys.
Hey.
Okay, wait, let's stop that. Hey guys. I'm Danny.
I'm Maya.
I'm Destiny.
I'm Emma.
I'm Mia.
I'm Paul.
And we are all Miss J's first testers of this year, and we're just gonna talk to y'all about what it was like for us and our experience for both written and skills tests.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, to prepare for the written, I took a lot of the practice tests on online. I forgot what the website's called. What's the website called?
CNA.
CNAplus.com, and that helped me a lot. There was kind of like similar questions. So like the questions online were similar to the ones in the written, so it makes it to be less challenging for when you actually take the written.
Mm-hmm. For the written, for me, what I did, because Miss J had got us packets, and we just used those packets. And so I did it all the night before. Being honest with you, just the night before, and I was like, okay, and I went through it. And honestly, if you do any pre-exams, like anything before your actual written, half of the questions on the pre-exam will be on the written, so like you'll kind of know what you're going into whenever you do your written. So yeah, just practice some more, as Miss J says. So yeah, that's what I did for the written, at least.
Yeah, I did the same things, and then I just went over my notes and went over my little booklet that she gives us. It was quite swell.
Okay, yeah. Just do the practice test and go over what you got wrong so you can do better on the actual test. And when you're actually taking the test, try not to like overthink your answers. Like your first gut feeling is most likely right. So don't overthink it, because then you're just gonna second guess yourself and probably get it wrong.
Yeah, for me, I honestly did the same thing as what they've been telling me. I just did the practice test that Miss J gave us, and then like I would just go through it. And then when we actually did the actual test online, a lot of the questions are gonna seem like they're really easy, like the answer that you're getting, but that's just how it is. There's like it's not because you're like oh because you think you're wrong and none of that. No, it is actually is that answer. So just go with your gut, like they're saying, and just you'll be fine.
Um, in order to add to that, I would just say trust your common sense. Basically, it'll help you out a lot through the test. There will only be a handful of questions that will really make you question yourself, but it's not because don't think that you're just slow or anything. Don't let that like affect you. Just it could be either or to be honest, some of these questions, but most of them you should just know.
You're not slow. You're not slow. You're not.
No, guys, no, you are not. You got it. I would also like to add on to what Mia and Emma were saying about not overthinking your answers. So, like what I did when I was taking the test, I didn't go over it when I was done. I just submitted it because I knew that if I were to go back at it, I would really look at the questions and like overthink the like my answers, and then I would have changed them. But if you do want to go back and check, just check if you answered all the questions, but don't check to see like, oh, did I maybe mess up or like didn't think properly on this question? Don't do that. Just check if you like answered all the questions if you do want to go back and check um, over your test.
And the exam did have 60 questions, 10 were omitted, and 5 sections were graded.
Yes.
Wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
So we did have what, like an hour?
We had an hour and a half.
An hour and a half to complete it.
Yes.
Most of it got done like within 40.
We all got done within like 40. Well,
30, 40.
no.
Okay, some were 30, some were 40, some were.
I got done within like 50 minutes. So
It's not because we were rushing. It's just that.
yeah, I don't know. I'm actually one to overthink, so I think that might have been it. But I also don't read that quick, so.
It's not that they're easy. You just have to have some common sense. If you don't, then just practice a little bit more, and then you'll get it.
CNA Plus just helped a lot because the questions on there are really similar to the questions that they give you on the actual written. And then study like your notes and everything because that also helps you gain some knowledge to help you. Yes, and self-confidence to help you answer those questions. Okay, now for skills. Me and Maya were paired together, Destiny and Emma. Oh wow, look. That's so funny.
Oh my goodness.
So we were each paired together, and we waited here for everybody. So let's see, Destiny and Emma went first. So y'all want to talk about what y'all went through?
So since we went first, I was the first one to go. She registered us, like she signed us in. It was like a little mini orientation. We had to show our IDs.
Miss Holly is so nice.
I love me some Miss Holly. I'm not gonna lie.
Miss Holly.
Miss Holly.
Yeah, we had really nice. But she showed us, and then she went over our skills and everything we could do. And then she'll allow you to look around like the beds and where all the supplies are. So you know where everything is. And she'll give you like a little. Or she gave us a little like tour of the room. And then while you're looking around, she talks to your partner and tells them like how they're supposed to be acting as the resident. In my case, Emma couldn't walk. She couldn't move. Like I had to move her all together. My skills were obviously hand hygiene. I had eyes and nose, like urinary drainage, transfer, and a nail care. And that was really it. It was very easy. Like,
So you had to use a pivot method.
yes, I had to, since she couldn't walk, I had to use a pivot method so she couldn't take any steps. Make sure your wheelchair is at that bed, just so she can pivot. She's not, or they're not supposed to be able to take any steps.
Yeah, honestly, not everyone will get a nice NAE, but ours was really nice, and she helped us a lot. And you just have to be competent and verbalize everything. That doesn't mean you have to be perfect. You just have to know what you're doing, and it'll just come to you while you're collecting your supplies or while you're thinking about it. It'll just come to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so then after them, me and Juan went, and I was the first one to go. And then it was really nice. Like, so my skills were obviously hand hygiene, transfer to wheelchair, hand and nail care, and the urinary drainage. And with me, my wheelchair kind of got like a little stuck. So the NAE, she did come and help me. And then my resident couldn't not walk right.
No, I was fully conscious and everything. I could talk to her and stuff, but the only thing she told me not to do was basically just don't move, don't speak unless she tells me to move a certain way or like ask me a question. Otherwise, I can't signal her. I would try not to make face gestures as well, like even like if you're trying to hold in a laugh because the NAE will be looking and they might count.
And
it
they
like
see
you're trying to-
everything.
I think it was harder for us like not to like laugh
Yeah.
or whatever because we were like all friends and like, you know, whatever. But if y'all are going with some stranger, y'all probably won't be laughing. So but yeah, try not to make any face gestures because they will think that you're like signaling them, telling them like, oh yeah, like you're doing good, or like if you make like a bad face, they're gonna think you're signaling them saying signaling them saying that it's wrong. So don't try not to make face gestures. But I'm sorry, keep going on. I totally interrupted you. I'm sorry. I was smiling while Amaya was doing my hand nail care.
She was like,
I know. I was like,
But
but I mean,
But yes, our NAH is very understanding and if something got stuck, something didn't work, or something like wasn't in that area, like she would go and check in and like help you and fix it.
yes.
And then like they said, she just give us a tour of the room where all the supplies were, and that's pretty much it. And just don't like the night before, just don't go over the skills. Don't look at none of the supplies because it'll all come naturally when you get there. And just be confident in what you're gonna do, and just do the best you can, and that's all you can do.
And again, that was our NAE. Luckily, she was very nice. If y'all get unlucky and don't get as nice of an NAE, just ask questions. You know, if you need help, especially with mannequin skills, I know it can be a struggle to turn them and keep them on their side. Just ask the NAE, can you help hold the mannequin? And they have to. They're obligated.
And obviously, like if you're competent, and people can tell when you're competent doing your skills, it's gonna make their job way easier. And they might, you know, if they're a little uptight, they might, you know, loosen up a little bit, and that'd be pretty nice to you. But that's why competence and confidence is key. But competent does not mean perfect, because I don't think any of us did a perfect job.
heck no.
Juan says he did, but you never know. You know?
I ain't get no notes. No notes.
Okay, fine. But he didn't get hundreds though.
He didn't get hundreds.
Anyways, back to
Okay.
us. So we were together, and I must say, if you mess up, let her or him know,
Self-correct.
because I messed up about 3 times, but I was like, I messed up. I need to self-correct. She's like, okay, go ahead, restart it. And I was like, okay. So that was that. If you mess up, don't be afraid to tell them that you messed up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had the same skills as all of them. I had urinary drainage, not feeding, you have feeding. Urinary drainage, I had transfer, and then hand and nail care. So I just went in there confident because I've never like practiced hand and nail care, but I was like, I got this. I had that mindset, and I went in there and I was great for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
94 worth, so
Yep.
pretty good.
For me, let's see. I had feeding. Prom to elbow and wrist, and then I had bedpan. So for feeding, Amaya was told as a resident to not talk unless spoken to. So like she couldn't really make conversation unless I made conversation with her, and then Maya also couldn't. Is that it?
And I had to be hunched over like
Oh,
this.
right. So feeding is done in a chair, right? So she set everything up for me for feeding. She actually put a clean barrier on my overbed table. Maya was already in the chair. She brought the overbed table to Maya, and then she put the clean barrier, and then she let Maya pick out a fork and a spoon, and then she put the food on the barrier. And is that it? Is that all she put on there? Oh, and then she filled up a cup of water for me. So that's how I started my skill. And then all I had to get was my clothing protector and my wipes. So yeah, for feeding, I don't know. It might be different with your NAE, but that's what my NAE did, or our NAE did. And then when I walked into Maya's room, she was hunched over like this. So I had to I introduced myself first, and then I hunched her just so she knew who I was. And then I picked her back up to a nice position that's comfortable for her. And then bedpan, they do check when you go behind the privacy curtain for them to go to the bathroom. The NAE does go over to check the bedpan. Mine wasn't all the way under Maya, so I got some points. I got a note for that. And so if the NAE tells, let's say, so Maya told me, so I asked, I'm sorry, I'm backtracking a lot, but when I put the bedpan under Maya, I was like, oh, are you comfortable? And the NAE was like, she doesn't know. So I was like, oh, shoot, I don't know what to do. So I was like, okay, well, let's put you in a high Fowler's position and see if you'll be more comfortable that way. So I did it. She like repositioned herself, and then I asked her if she was comfortable again. She said yes, but I think that was just because she said yes, because she obviously wasn't comfortable because it wasn't under her butt all the way. So, but if they do say that, check. Just tell her if they say like, I don't know, check first and then fix it so that when you go behind the privacy curtain, the NAE doesn't see anything wrong with the bedpan, because that's a mistake I made. Also, while feeding, I got a note that said to talk more to the resident while you're feeding them. So take note of that if you get feeding. And that's pretty much it. Maya did make a little oopsies when she didn't put the wheelchair close enough to the bed, because I had to take a step, and
Yeah, because she couldn't walk. So I was like,
yeah,
can you please make a step?
yeah, she was
And
like,
I was
can you
just come down.
yeah,
Just
she like
slide down. Come on.
So yeah, make sure you put the wheelchair kind of closer to where you think their legs are going to be, so that you can just use the pivot method. And I think that's it. Like Mia said, with the like going over your skills and everything, for me, the night before, I just did my practice tests for written, and then for skills, I knew that I knew all the steps, so I didn't go and what are you laughing at? I knew that I knew all the steps for my skills, but I wanted to make sure that I knew all of my supplies. So, but what I did was I made sure. What is so funny? I'm sorry, guys. I made sure that I knew what skills needed gloves and what didn't. So I like went over all of
And
them.
also too, we tested here at our.
Oh yeah, our arms.
Yeah, we-
Okay, so it was really comfortable.
room for
Yeah.
like 3 hours, and
Drink.
we're not talking about.
We were
some-
talking about the
Bring
test
some
though.
Uno, bring some Monopoly,
Yes.
bring
Just
something.
Bring something.
Because we were in here all
Bring
day.
a lunch.
Yeah,
And we were
relax.
Since we were the
Relax.
last
So
ones,
just be relaxed.
since we were the last ones, we were in here for like literally like 4 to 5 hours just sitting here. Just like,
Cause
hey guys, eating tacos all day.
Yeah.
I'm so tired of it.
But like we didn't talk about the test. I mean, I talked about like Juan falling. I really was like caught up on like Juan falling. But like
I didn't fall.
everything else, we did not talk about the test. We just talked about a bunch of other random stuff to get our minds off of it, so that when we went in there, we had our head in the game. Yeah, that's pretty much
That's
it.
it.
You'll do
hope
great.
this helps y'all.
We hope this helps y'all.
And so go watch Miss J's video.
Yes,
Y'all
watch Miss
on
J's
here.
videos.
Like she said.
When you're done with your skills, after you're done with each skill, the NAE might come up to you and just like let you know what's gonna go on next. Like, oh, okay, you're finished with this skill. I'm just gonna help you set up with this skill. Don't be shocked by that, because I was shocked by it. I was caught off guard when they came up to you. I thought she was gonna like scold me or something. They're just letting you know that you're going on to the next skill. I'm just letting you know.
But another thing that you did, as an instructor, like Miss J was a really good instructor, obviously. Her videos helped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Make a YouTube channel. I don't know.
Make you
She was really her books were really helpful, step by step. And when I mean step by step, I'm going to step by step. She gave us like many mock exams. She was really prepping us for these, and these are some things that you as an
Yes.
instructor can do yourself. Maybe ask about her book, make mock exams, make mock measurement things, measurement papers for your students
Mm-hmm.
to help them succeed as well.
Yes.
And y'all don't see this out of Miss J, but when it's time for business, it's time for
It's time for
business.
she doesn't mess around.
She be
Miss
like,
J doesn't
"Yo,
mess around.
I'm not gonna put her on blast like that, but her being on top of us like that helped a lot.
It did help a lot.
'Cause we was a little scared.
Yeah. So instructors,
Okay.
make sure your students are on top of it, because
Don't be. You're not friends with them.
You're not friends.
Not
That's your
friends.
student, not your friend.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Practice.
Try to get them certified.
Practice
Exactly.
at school, practice at home.
Yes.
Practice in your mom's house, practice wherever you
Just
can.
when you're in your free time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's it, guys.
Good luck
Enjoy
to all
Hopefully
of
this helped
y'all.
out.
If it didn't, I'm sorry.
Bye.
Okay, bye. So our NAE had everything set up for us, and she made sure to give us a tour of the residents' room. So we had a mannequin bed, and then we had a live person bed, and then we had a privacy curtain. What's it called? Slitting. No, a privacy curtain like
Between the
It was
bed.
like a private
yeah,
wall.
between. Yeah, it was like it was like a wall or whatever. And then so she gave us a tour of where all of her supplies were. What else did she do? She went over, she checked each person in like one at a time. So whoever was testing first, she checked those people in. And then she went over their card. So you get like a card that says all of your skills. And then they explain to you everything that you should be doing, like your directions. And then for your measurement skill, they have the measurement paper. They give it to you. They have you sign it as proof that they gave it to you. And then they let the tester walk around the room while they talk to the acting resident. It just depends on what the NAE wants the resident to do. But like Maya, for me, was non-verbal. She wasn't verbal. She wasn't able to talk to me. So I had to start the conversation, which I didn't really do that good of. So you should probably start conversation if they seem like they aren't talking. Just try to start conversation with them so that they don't dock you on communication. And then what else? Then after that, they have you go ahead and start. And our NAE didn't stop our time when she had to reset for each skill, but she didn't take a lot of time to reset. There really wasn't that much things that she had to like fix.
But to be honest, like I wouldn't recommend like studying like any of the supplies you need for each skill like before you take the skills exam, because then you're gonna start overthinking like, oh, I'm gonna forget this item or that item, or oh, I don't think I really know that skill and those items like too well. But like you do know it. It's just like when you get into like the zone and you start like performing the skill, it will all come to you. It would all come to you and just naturally, and then you'll be able to perform it. And just take your time, don't rush. Like there's no need to rush. And the our NAE, she was very nice, and you may not get a very nice NAE, but just go along with it and
Be confident.
be confident.
Yeah.
Yes, and just have a lot of competence, especially when you're doing the skill.
Make sure you know your supplies and stuff like that. But the day of, when you're waiting to go into the room, do not think about it too much, because like the written test, you're gonna overthink it and it's gonna stress you out. You're gonna forget supplies. You'll probably forget more supplies. You just gotta walk in there, be confident, grab your supplies, and it'll just come as you go along. As you do your skills, it'll just come.
Do not be afraid to make self corrections. You need to make self corrections if you mess up, because they will see everything.
And
Oh my
verbalize
goodness.
everything.
Verbalize everything too.
It helps a lot.
Just everything that she be teaching on these videos. I know she be saying to verbalize. I know that she be saying to do self correction. You better do everything she says, because you passed and we did everything she said. So like, yeah, keep it together when you're doing it. But yeah, just don't overthink it. Everything's easy. You already know what to do. Just walk in there like you own the place, like you're the owner. Like this is your room. Like you know what you're doing. Like you're a CNA already. Just walk in there like that, and you'll be good.
You might not get a nice NAE evaluator. Yeah, just really don't take it too personal. Even if they have a mean looking face, just ask them a question if you have to ask them. Regardless if they might respond funky or like look you in an ugly way. Just ask the question and just proceed with your skills. Like don't be intimidated basically by the NAE.
All in all, the test was great.
But yeah, none of us did perfect. We all messed up on something, but we all passed. So I mean, okay, whatever.
Just make sure that if you do mess up, you tell her like, "Oh, can I make a self correction?"
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell you.
That's why competence is key, because if you're competent, you know what you're doing. It's not perfection though. Sometimes. So
That's really it.
that's pretty much it.
Just don't overthink it.
Don't overthink
Don't think it. Practice,
Got
practice,
it.
practice.
Be
Try to
confident.
give it solid. You're great. I love you, girl.
Shout it
I'm
to
Jay. That was good. That was good.
Hopefully, I'm loud enough. Hopefully, my students' tips will be helpful to some of y'all, better yet, even all of y'all. So take the heed to what they said, and hopefully you all will do well as well.
Woohoo!
Bye.
Bye.
Turn the video.
I did.